Hello everyone, welcome back to JD Mods. A bit of a different video for you guys today. If you guys aren't subscribers to our channel, we usually build a lot of Japanese cars. If you're into that stuff, please subscribe to the channel as well as like this video if you are enjoying the content. But essentially, I just did a rebuild on my old 1992 Toyota MR2. I did a lot of welding using sheet steel just like this to repair the quarter panels and sills, as well as the floors and tons of other parts. I did all the proper steps by using weld through primer, priming it, painting it all properly. I even seam sealed it around the seams. But essentially, I want my bodywork to last as long as possible, so I decided to go to Canadian Tire and pick up a few of these rust coating and protecting products. And I think the idea with these is that they're an oil-based product, so you spray it on your seams or where you think there might be some bare metal, and it protects it from rust and corrosion. So I picked up a few of them because I didn't know which one was the best. They all had different reviews. They were all a little bit different prices. But today I thought we could go ahead and find out. So what I've done is got a piece of sheet steel here. I believe this is around 12 gauge thick sheet steel. And it had some sort of a protective coating from the store. So what I did is I sanded it down so it's now just bare sheet steel. It's not brand new, so there are a few rust spots, but honestly, that's pretty real world. It's fairly uniform, so I don't think it'll skew our test too much. So as you can see here, I have 3 different products and 4 different segments because I want to do one segment as a base, or I guess neutral, whatever you want to call it, where I'm not going to put on any protecting, and then we'll see how bad it rusts compared to the ones that are protected. Let's go ahead and run through the products. I got these from my local Canadian Tire in Canada, so I'm sure if we can get them in Canada, people in the States watching this video have very similar products. So this one, I'm not even sure what the brand is, honestly. There's so many words on this one, but it's just called Quick and Easy. You can do it corrosion-free rust cure winning formula 3000. So lots of stuff there, and it does mention on the side spraying stuff like brake lines, fuel lines, underbody, between crevices, which is like your pinch welds and stuff maybe. I think this one does advertise drip free right there. It's also a lubricant and a penetrant. This one here was probably the best reviewed and also most expensive. This is fluid film, powerful rust and corrosion protection for tools and equipment. The key with this one that I read online is it has something called wool wax formula. Apparently it does a really good job at staying on a surface. Yep, has a picture of a car on there, so we're good. Then this one was also in the car section. It's called Rust Check, which I think is a Canadian brand. Yep, proudly Canadian. So this one's their coat and protect. They have lots of different ones in different colors. This is the green one I got because it mentions coat and protect. And it says new and old metals, wear resistant, heavy duty lubrication, severe weather conditions. Since my car is not winter driven, we're going to be testing this with this spray bottle that I filled up with just regular tap water, as tap water has a few minerals and stuff like rainwater, but obviously salt water would be much worse. I didn't want to use salt water because if I didn't mix up the salt properly, one sample might get a lot more salt than a different sample. So we're just going to use regular old water. Let's start coating the metal. I decided to order them from least expensive to most expensive. I thought that was just a fun way of doing it. This one here was around $7 Canadian, $14, and around $17. So this is pretty much over double the price of this one for a similar size container. I have a piece of cardboard to make sure I don't get too much overspray, and I have my piece of metal on a slight incline, so we're going to wait for the excess to run off before we test it. Let's go ahead and start by spraying this Rust Check one. I'm going to use the straw to make it as accurate as possible. First one we'll do as our neutral. Cover those 2 up right there. Give it a spray. Maybe I'll go ahead and just wipe off the excess. Okay, so there's that one done. You can see I put it on pretty heavy. So I want to wait for it to drip off a little bit because that's pretty real world if you ask me. Next up is this rust cure one. Okay. Then lastly, the most expensive one. There's no straw, so we're going to use this straw. What we're doing right now is just waiting for the product to drip off of the sample piece. It's only been a few minutes so far, but if I had to make a guess, it looks like the far right, the most expensive fluid film product, is sticking the best, but that might also just be because of the dark color. You can't really see the other ones as well. I'm going to leave it probably like this for another 10-15 minutes, and then I will do the water test. So it's been around 10 minutes. I could let it go for longer, but if I pick it up, nothing is dripping anymore. It's really hard to tell which one stuck the most because they're all different colors. But looking at it, obviously I would say the fluid film stuck the most. But honestly, I'm pretty impressed with all of them. I guess the rust test might help us decide which one's the best. So let's lay it back down almost perfectly flat. It's still on a slight incline. And I'm just going to spray it as evenly as I can with the water. Alright, so I don't know if I would quite call this the most scientific test because it was really hard to spray it evenly, but I tried to soak them all to like mimic like a rainstorm. So they're all very wet for sure. So now I guess we just have to leave it here, wait, and see how it looks. So far it's been about an hour, and the only one to have any signs of rust is the bare metal. The other three I've inspected pretty closely, and even though there's still water on the surface, they're completely rust free, so they're protecting the surface 100%. So I'm going to go ahead and spray them again quite harshly to see if any of them are maybe stronger than the others, and then we're going to let it sit for a day or so. Oh, spray bottle's acting up. Alright, that should be plenty of water. So now let's just let it sit for a day and come back and see how it looks. So it's been a few days, and I will go ahead and show you guys the results. I wish they differentiated a little bit more than what you're about to see, but you can't fake the results, so I'll just show you guys what I found. It's been about 4 days, and I actually placed this sample on the damp concrete in our garage, and it's literally been raining all week. I think this was near the door, so it even got rain splashed on it. You can see the oil's kind of disturbed a little bit rough. So this is about as bad as it gets. You can see the unprotected spot is pretty bad. It even has some like actual raised rust scale starting to form. And as you can see, all 3 samples, I don't see a single spot where the rust or the moisture got through the oil spray and caused rust to form. So it's really hard for me to draw a conclusion about which one you should purchase. If I had to pick, which I did, I would go with the fluid film because of the wax formula. I read that is actually very important for long-term rust prevention, and spraying it on, I noticed it seems to be the thickest and stick the best. That is actually the one I ended up spraying my MR2 with. I sprayed all the arches, I sprayed the wheel wells, I sprayed all the common issue areas on my MR2 with that wool wax fluid film product. So it's up to you. That was the most expensive at $17 a can. followed by the Rust Cure at $14 for 14 ounces. And then this is the cheapest at only about $7 for 350 grams. As you can see, they all did very good. Almost perfect, I would say. But to know for sure, I'm going to go ahead and wipe off the oil and take a look at the metal underneath. I just wiped off the oil very carefully with the napkin to not disturb the metal too much. Remember that we started with a used piece of steel that I sanded down. So I think all of the corrosion you see here was original. The square you see in the kind of center, the lower center, is from a barcode. So I know that was original. So for this test anyway, I would say they all performed about the same. So I'm very confident that any of these products would do a good job in protecting your car, especially compared to untreated. As you can tell, they're all much better than leaving the metal untreated, even in just rain, never mind salt or snow conditions. If I had to choose, I would choose the fluid film. It is the most expensive, but it definitely had the best protection, like the film layer, and it has the wool wax formula, which I read is pretty important for long-term protection. Let me know in the comments down below which one of these you would purchase, or if there's another brand, feel free to let all the viewers know in the comments down below. If you like this type of video, please let me know as well. I do stuff like this all the time, so if you want me to film it, I probably can. And if you want to see us do some work on our 90s project cars, please go ahead and subscribe. Let us know what you want to see in the comments down below. Lots of fun projects to work on soon here. But as always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.